It's true that Guimarães in the north of Portugal is lesser known to expats, but we're here to figure out if it's right for you. I'm Josh with Expats Everywhere.
And I'm Kalie. Let's explore this medieval settlement turned into a modern town and see what it has to offer.
Let's start off in the historic city center, where in 2001, Guimarães was added as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This might not be well known and might come as a shock to some, but the town is actually referred to as the birthplace or cradle of Portugal, because it is believed that Afonso Henriques, the first king of Portugal, was born here. That, coupled with the Battle of São Mamede, which was fought nearby and considered a major event in the establishment of Portugal, is what gives Guimarães this title.
The town was also the first capital of Portugal, so as you can imagine, they've kept this historical feel down here right in the center. Come explore with us. You'll see ruins that have been left among the updated and painted housing. Walk through the narrow streets to see the beautiful stone and the many small balconies. Notice they have preserved the architecture through the consistent use of traditional building materials and techniques.
Now that we've told you a small part of the town's history, let's get to the specifics of living here. Guimarães is located in a valley and is inland, so it's not close to the ocean. For those of you wanting cooler weather, the north is for you. Do know that the winters can be rainy. From November to March, the average high is right around 60 degrees, and the lows get down around 40 degrees. January tends to be the coldest month, where you most likely will hover in the 40s and 50s.
So winters will be damp, but summers are warm, dry, and mostly clear. The summer months are quite pleasant, with the highs possibly reaching into the low 80s, but more likely staying in the high 70s, and the lows getting to around 60 degrees. This kind of weather is not for everyone.
We know that the historic center is preserved along with the palace and the castle, but what are some more modern things that you'll experience while living here? Guimarães Shopping is a big mall with plenty of shops and a movie theater.
You might also want to head up the cable car for a breathtaking view of the town and what surrounds it. If you want to live without a car, we recommend renting or buying right down in the center. It is very possible to find a studio or a T1 that is renovated and in a good location for around 400 euros. Some of these rentals cater to the fact that there are a lot of university students. If you want more space, then expect to pay closer to 600 to 700 euros.
Basic utilities will average around 100 euros, but this will largely depend on your heating use in the winter. When looking for a place to rent here, it's important to find out its energy efficiency rating so that you know how efficient the unit is. This will save you money.
You could look to buy in the historic center, but it will be tricky. Either those houses are lived in by longtime owners, you will need to renovate, or they have already been renovated and are being listed for a high price. The buildings will be older, generally the units are smaller, and you might experience stairs. If they are renovated, then the prices will be high for the size. However, it's not as hard to find a place if you move just a bit outside of the historic downtown.
If you're looking for a T1 or T2 in a good location but needs renovating, you can expect to pay in the 50,000 to 70,000 euros range. For something turnkey, obviously size and location will need to be taken into consideration, but a range to think about would be 80,000 to 120,000 euros, depending on your specific needs. Of course, there are plenty of places that are higher than this, but it is possible to find a good deal if you have the right person helping you.
This isn't too bad for a place that's ready to be moved into and is in a good location for just walking around the town. If you don't mind having a car and would prefer something a little more rural, then you can find even better deals a little further out. You might be looking at a fixer-upper though.
Do remember that having a car here is a big expense, mainly because of the price of gas and if you want to take toll roads. Those tolls and taxes really add up. If you stay close to the town though, you can easily walk around and there's a bus for an affordable price.
Even though this is a small town, you can still find a decent variety of foods. For example, we walked by a place that said it had pizza and fajitas, kind of a funny combo together, but that is available here. Of course, you can find traditional Portuguese food, and we saw plates of the day for around 7 to 10 euros, so very affordable.
You can head to the municipal market for those fresh foods at an affordable price, or pop into the local grocery stores where you'll find the cost of groceries to be quite modest. You might also want to visit many of the shops who sell the different pies and meat cakes that are specialties in Guimarães.
The town has festivals, a number of museums, the soccer team Vitória, and many other things to do.
So could Kalie and I live here with a young daughter? And what would that look like for us? Let's talk about it.
Okay, so let's chat about Guimarães and what we think about it. Could we live there and that stuff? What do you think?
Yeah, Guimarães is a really, really nice place. It's very quaint, it's small. Because of that, for me personally, I wouldn't want to live there. I think that just kind of lacks something exciting about it.
So
very beautiful, it's great for vacation.
You're jumping right in. You would not expat that.
I would not expat that.
We do that at the end, we talk a little bit about it, but okay, you would not expat that.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll say as well, I would also not expat that. I think that it's just a little too small. It's cute, it's quaint, it's charming, but it's just, I think, too small for us as a family.
All right, but let's talk about some of the things that might be beneficial for you all to know, at least our opinions, so that maybe you can make a decision on whether it's for you. Now, we do like big cities. We've lived in quite a few big cities around the world. So I'm talking about cities that have like multi-million people. But we're currently living in Porto. We're not currently in Porto, but we're currently living in Porto. Porto's not 1 million people, but it has a feel like there's a lot going on and it's big. Guimarães is not like that.
No, not at all. And actually, we had a few people that live there, Portuguese people that showed us around, told us a little bit that there aren't too many expats there, especially not English-speaking expats, but it is getting a little more popular. However, it seems like it's quite a touristy place. Like in the summer, when the weather's good, the tourism really ramps up because there are a lot of beautiful things to see. So it's good, I think, for tourism, but if you want a smaller kind of feel, then maybe it's good to live there.
Yeah, to give you guys an idea of just how small it is, basically anybody that we have talked to, Portuguese or expats, say you could do a day trip there. And well, that was kind of how we felt as well. The first day that we were there, we did this big walking loop and we saw the real main attractions of the city. Now, it's not to say that we saw everything, but we more or less saw kind of the main important points of the city. As far as cars go, because this is a question we get asked very often, is like, how is it for cars? I don't think that you would need a car at all. And the other thing is that traffic gets kind of bad there. So there's an imbalance between the amount of cars that are there and then the amount of space on the road. And there are points where things bottleneck, and you will see that there are choke points that cars just back up at. But it's not as if like it's super busy with cars. It's very strange.
Yeah, I think just the way that, especially in the downtown area, small roads, narrow, kind of one way, so you just get a lot of traffic of people needing to go that direction, and so you will see a bit of a backup. Definitely down in the middle part, so you would not need a car there. You would want a car if you need to go out, but there also is a bus easily to Braga, the train to Porto. So if you want to live in a smaller place but still be pretty well connected to some of the bigger cities, then it could be for you. But yeah, I don't think you would need a car.
Regarding the bus though and the train, I would say it's not that well connected in the sense that you generally have to go to Porto to get to Braga, or from Braga, you have to go to Porto to get to Guimarães.
For the train.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the bus, though, you could take the bus from Guimarães to Braga. That's an option. So you have some options, I guess. So maybe saying well-connected isn't too much, but it's somewhat connected.
Yeah, but by car, you're talking about going, what was it, like 7 miles?
Yeah, it's like a 25-minute drive compared to like 50 minutes on the bus.
On the bus, exactly.
Between Guimarães and Braga, so there is that. So you could have a car that you take outside of the city, but if you didn't want a car, you could definitely live without one in the city and then just get public transportation or rent a car when you're ready to explore. Yeah. That's an option.
In terms of cost of living there, we talked about it in the video, but I think that one of the great benefits is that the northern region is known to be kind of lower economically. That's not to say that like people are super poor, but what I'm saying is that the level of income is a bit lower in the north, and therefore costs are a bit lower. So if you have a digital job and you don't have like a super high income and you want to be able to kind of watch those euros, it's probably going to be easier in the north than in other places.
Definitely, and especially if you're okay with the cooler weather. We always talk about the weather as well, so if you're okay with cooler weather, then this could be a place for you. And there is a university here, so you can find some cheaper housing kind of around the university. It's geared more towards university students, but it doesn't necessarily have to be, so you do have that option. But it seems like housing is a bit going on the rise. You know, I think that's pretty much all over Portugal at this point. But yeah, I guess the two main things would be like the housing costs you have to be careful with. They are cheaper, but maybe going up a little bit. And the traffic could be another thing to watch out for there. But overall, it's quite charming. So if you're looking for something small, then this could be for you. It's just not for us.
Could be for you. If you don't know what is for you yet, click this playlist right over here. We created it just for you, so you can figure out where in Portugal is for you. Now let's get moving.
Bye.
Bye.